So with the strong winds, it looked at one point that during the rather beautiful cauldron extinguishing sequence as night set onto the stadium, and this extinguished the cauldron with the singer beneath a voluminous waterfall effect. And it seemed at one point she'd be the only dry person in the house when the wind blew the effect completely off her. There. And you can see the volume of water coming down. We were very lucky.
So where to rig? When it came to attaching birdies to the wall, it became clear that the refurb had been a long time coming. Plaster was falling out the wall every time we tried to secure something in. Rigging birdies under the counter gave me a great uplight position, but was also a great place for them to get covered in flour. They had to be checked before every show, as the show was open for business during the day, so birdies would get kicked. Customers would come into their favorite pie and mash shop, see some strange lights screwed into the wall, and if they could reach them, move them about. And luckily, the DSM Sarah Phillips was very good and kept on top of refocusing them. So onto the design. Here you can see the pie and mash shop on a normal day, and this was similar to how it looked for the audience as they entered. We just lit it in working light, obviously rather than daylight, which were just normal fluorescent strips in the ceiling. Actors walked around as actors, audience members found their seats, and once clearance had been given, an actor walked behind the counter and snapped off the fluorescent light. The musical director lit a candle to see his music, and the show began.
If you've not been to Little Angel, in brief, it's an old Victorian temperance hall, which in 1961 was converted into a puppet theatre by a family of travelling puppeteers. That's what we've got rigged at the moment. Basically, just lots of top light and lots of side light. That's my talk, in essence. Because what we're trying to do is we're borrowing a lot of stuff from dance theatre, a lot of stuff from dance lighting, modelling on the puppet, and trying to create a separation between the puppet and the puppeteer here. So lots and lots of parallel beams of light coming across. In this show, I think you can see some beam benders down at the front to try and get a nice wash of light across the playboard, which is the puppet playing area, and some pin spots as well to really replicate the sort of shins, mids, and heads that we would do in dance theatre. So we're really trying to make this thing ping out in front of us. We're going to watch a little bit of footage. Puppet master here brings up his Petrushka marionette. That's not a real control. There's 3 puppeteers on him. Whoop. My magic trick, he says, is that I can bring a puppet to life, and then we watch.
The company coming to see like what kind of scenery is going to hit them during the production. First rehearsal, Darth Vader. Maybe my favorite scene where the borders are collapsing and all the Vipers were like wobbling, so we were kind of like, okay. And it was really nice, like I didn't know, like, I mean, it's a big project for a designer to do something like this when it's all kind of from your own desk, and then you put it out to the audience and stuff like that. And I think a day or 2 days before the opening night, we sort of posted first images from the stage to social media. And within 1 day, I was contacted by Live Design and all the lighting magazines in UK and the States and Germany, saying, okay, we want to do a story about this. And this never happened to me before. But again, coming the opening night and the first half of the show, I'm sitting there in the audience and I go like, this is like total failure. This is embarrassing. Everybody's going to hate this.
You know, you get a lovely moment, what the French call entre chien et loup, or more recently, entre Macron et Le Pen. And you get, you know, you have a bit of time. You have a magic hour. Because basically, if you think my hand is the horizon, and this is the sun, in the northern hemisphere, that's from last night. In the northern hemisphere, you know, the sun goes down, it bobs around, and it disappears very nicely. Now, in the tropics, you get a totally thing. First of all, the sun is much higher the whole day. And then you get ready for the sunset, you get the whole crew, and here comes the sunset, and so you have that time to get it right. You have this scene here with where Duane is coming to look for a boy. It's again entirely visual. And Duane's coming looking for this boy that you saw earlier. And he discovers that he actually lives in terrible conditions and he likes basketball. And it was one of those moments where my overconfidence, which could have led to disaster, actually brought a happy accident. Because on the day, I'd sent the B camera out to do some second unit. And I told them they could take the prime lenses with them, because we could manage with the zoom. However, look at this moment. It actually works very nice. We come into the room, we see it. But the reason we had to do that is because we couldn't fit the camera through the door. So because we had to zoom on it. And so we had to pan off, get the camera in, pan back again. But it was nice. We saw the poster, but all because of some overconfident idiot that sent all the lenses off on another unit.
I'm an engineer, I call myself engineer in the arts, so I studied electronics and engineering and was also playing music, so I had these two lives, arts and theater interest and the technology. And this is basically what I made out of it, and it's funny that I can speak to you today because my coexistence with lighting designs is not always easy because I want to do too much myself with the video. So I'm often lighting with the video, and there's not a lot of extra light. But I had very happy collaborations with lots of lighting designers. But here you kind of see the idea. So I always had this interest in interactive technology or real-time computing, and that's, in my opinion, very good for live theater, because theater is a live medium. You want to feel the presence of the performer, and why would you use pre-rendered media that is not in sync with the movement?
Now, this technology is going to be worth 150 billion by 2020 as a global income. That's bigger than the smartphone industry. What that's saying to us is that you can throw your phones away in 3 years. We're going to have augmented devices instead. They're going to create wearable versions. Obviously, this isn't very sexy. We're not going to be wearing these out on the streets yet. But eventually, they'll be in nice little slim glasses, or maybe even contact lenses. And we'll constantly be getting augmented data sent to us. Now, what that means is if you want to make a phone call, it'll be augmented on my hand. I can go through my contacts list. I can have a Twitter feed constantly follow me around. It completely changes the idea of notifications, because at the moment, a notification comes in your pocket, and you go, oh. But supposing it just comes up in your notification, you've had a message, okay, ignore. You don't have to do anything, just blink and it goes away. This is going to be part of your lives. The last thing I want to talk about how this is going to influence theatre is this. You may have seen this video before. For me, as a designer, being able to create that on a stage is it. Do you know what I mean? If you can create a whale jumping out of the floor, you can create anything. Now, that means for a lighting designer, you could go up to a floor and in Photoshop style say, right, fill that with red light. And this is assuming we've got projectors sort of projecting everywhere on our set. I'm going to get a layer of gobos. I'm just going to lay it out. I'm going to do the impossible. I'm going to bring a barn door in on this side and leave it soft on this bit and sharp on this edge. Or I'm going to have a gobo that's red on one side and it's going to disappear to tungsten on the other side. You can start to paint with this. Or you could have pyrotechnics that are safe. You know, you can have a pyrotechnic go off in front of the audience. It's fine. It's digital. Because eventually, of course, everyone's going to have these built into their heads or whatever, and we'll just be able to stream straight to their head-mounted displays.